Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and this is not a crafting video, but you very easily could crochet and knit in this video. Do a little crafting. Sometimes I like to diamond dot while watching my videos. And I'm going to talk to you about all the books I've read this summer. I know there's a few of you that are also readers. I did spend the last 2 weeks reading books. I typically don't get to read during the school year because I am a teacher, and any of the reading I do is usually school involved. So in my relaxing summer, I buckled down the other day, a couple weeks ago, and started reading. Now, I'm going to just show you the books, but I'm going to save you the last two. Those were the best. I'll put a link in the description to the book if you wanted to be able to get it, if it sounded great to you. So let's get started. The first one I got is Diana Gabaldon. I don't know how to say her name. Gabaldon. Well, anyway, she is the author of the Outlander series. And I have read all of the books. I think she's got one more that's coming out that's going to like really wrap it up. But what she started doing was writing novellas. Little shorter stories about different things that had happened throughout the books, to give you a little bit more background. And so the main character, Jamie, and his best friend, Ian, when they were in their early years, late teens, early 20s, they were soldiers. And so this book, Virgins, is actually about them being soldiers. I guess they were virgins then. And it was more war talkish. I can't explain it. Soldier talk. The book was good enough. It was a good enough backstory to kind of see a little bit of Jamie's friendship with Ian, how they protected each other, but it just didn't have the full color view, the full flavor, if you will, of her normal books. It was a real quick read. And then the other thing that I was kind of disappointed about, because if you see how big the book is, you're like, oh, that looks great. No, the story actually, the novella, the beginning part about Jamie when him and his buddy Ian were in France is that much. And then this is the beginning of the Outlander book. I don't know how many chapters. So, could you get by without reading this book? Absolutely. If you've started reading the books and you're waiting for the 8th book, this is a nice little thing to hold you over until, or the 9th book, until the last book is out. I think my husband got this for Christmas, or either that, I ordered a bunch of books at the end of the school year that I was going to read. I don't remember how much this book was. Oh, it says $12.99 on the inside. Yeah, it was okay. Now, the next book I got was out of the Walmart bin, so I don't know if I can put a link for it. I'll look. I mean, it might be more expensive off of Amazon because this was in a $5 book bin at Walmart. It says $6.97, but I know it was $5. It's Danielle Steele, and I don't know if this is the real Danielle Steele, like the famous author, or if this is just someone who has a similar name and doesn't have an E at the end. Okay, so this book was okay. It's about a guy who grows up to become a butler. But it tells you, okay, so what I'm going to say about this book, how can I explain it? There, again, was not a lot of flavor or detail. I guess I'm used to reading authors that give you more of a full picture in your mind while they're talking about what's happening. And this one was real bland. Now, I will say I read it in a day and a half. There was one thing in there that was a little fishy to me. One of the characters in here, and I'm not ruining it because it happens right away, you find out is a twin, the butler. He's got a twin brother. One of the brothers is a good brother. One of the brothers is a bad brother. Okay? So at some point, the government confuses him with the bad brother. And I'm like, and then the girl, he ends up working for a lady. she hires him and does a background check, okay? So the person, the private detective that she hired to do the background check, finds out this full-blown, very detailed report on him. Finds out right away that he's got a naughty twin, right? But yet the government had no idea that the naughty twin had a good twin. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seemed weird. How does a regular private detective from a different country find that out? So, was it a good story? Yes. Now, if you like a nice, simple story with just, I would say this story is 98% about the butler getting to know the lady he's working for. And I would say 1.5% love. 1.5%. So if you just want a simple story taking place in the modern day, there it is. There's nothing exciting. It's not terrible. Like I said, this took me about, I started it, let's see, what's today? Today is Friday. I started it Wednesday afternoon. And then I read it. I would say I read like a chapter or two. I think I got to chapter 2. And then Thursday, I read it all day. That's the beauty of having big kids now. When I want to read a book, I can't space it out. I just got to binge read it. And so I just sit on the couch or sit outside and I just rotate from place to place, reading the book all day. Obviously, I stop to make meals or do this or that, but usually my kids know, oh, mom's reading a book. Okay, so that book, I will put a link in the description, but I did buy it at Walmart. I doubt you want to, I wouldn't waste my time digging through the bins to try to find it. Okay, it might be at the Dollar Tree. Okay, the next one, again, was another, this one I was a little disappointed about as well. This is, again, Diana Gabaldon. I'm saying her name wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. For loving her books. I can't say her name. This one was as another novella, and I bought it because it was described as being about one of the characters' mom and dads. Okay, so the main character in all the Outlander books are Jamie and Claire. The main two. They have a child together named Brianna. Brianna marries Roger. Okay, this is like an 8-book series. It's on TV. If you haven't heard it, I don't know where you live. This book, from what I read online, because I was just cruising to try to find myself books for the summer, I thought was all about Roger's parents, because Roger's dad also can time travel. The disappointing thing that I found out is this is not just one novella, one short story. And that's what disappointed me. It's all of these. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 short stories. And even more disappointingly, in my humble opinion, Virgins is in here. And that's the one that I just talked about, the first book. That's the one about Jamie and Ian. So I could have just bought this and not that. Now, you could say this is my fault for not reading. The description's good enough. So the thing about Diana and what I've noticed is her novellas, she's writing them real short. I think she's writing them to just quick answer a question. Why did this certain thing happen? Or give a little bit of more flavor. There's not a lot of detail like in the other books. So what did I say? How many different stories are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is normally the size, if not a little smaller than one of her normal books. And there's 7 books in here. But I will say the really nice thing that she does at the beginning of this book to help you out is she puts them all in order. So she talks about when these little books come into play, because there's the main series is like 8, maybe 9 books now. Okay, so do you need to get this if you're an Outlander lover? No. Could you if you're waiting for the last book or you've read all the others 2 times and you just want something else to read? Yeah. Okay. Again, I'll put a link in the description to that one. The next book I got at Goodwill. My daughter and I occasionally go to Goodwill. This has been out for quite a while. Let me get my reading glasses on to tell you the copyright. The cool thing about this is this one also does have a movie. This was copyrighted 2013. Okay, this book was amazing. This is from Nicholas Sparks. This is The Longest Ride. Now, before I'm going to tell you about this, I have always loved The Notebook. And lately, I've been seeing on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube little people making little short videos complaining about The Notebook and how terrible of a book it was, or the love story, or how destructive it was, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I still love it. Okay? Now, this one was really good. Now, I am not going to ruin anything for you, but I'm going to tell you it tells two parallel love stories. One between this guy, Ira. He starts off and he's an old man and he's telling his love story in the past. Right away, you find out he has gotten into a car accident. And his wife comes to him in a dream or as a ghost or whatever. And in order to keep him staying focused and alive, because she says it's not his time yet, he goes through their love story. And she comes in and out in different time periods from their love story. Over 50 years, those two were married. Then the other love story, so it'll be a couple chapters about Ira, and then a couple chapters will be about these two people, Sophia and Luke, and it goes through their love story. Then at the very end of the book, it has a connection between the two. Who is this guy that wrote this? Nicholas Sparks connects the two stories in a shocking way. I was able to read this book in a couple days, 2 days or so. Super good. I loved it. Also, they have pictures in here because this book was copyrighted after, or this was printed after the movie came out. So then they have pictures in here from the movie. I loved this book. Now, this is just another simple story, not historical fiction, although there's a little bit because Ira was in World War II. So you get a little bit of that, but it's not about the history or living through history. It's about their stories. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. There's nothing inappropriate happening. It's just two simple love stories. There's some kissing, just about all that. I'll put a link in the description to this. And then again, you can also look to find the movie. But as you know, the book is always better. There's nothing that a movie can do to make up for all the detail a book has, right? Okay, so that was another book I read. I'm not kidding you guys. I did read these all in 2 weeks. Okay, so here are the best two. Now, this one I bought a very long time ago at Hobby Lobby. Karen Kingsbury is a Christian author. Now, this book is very good, very good. Right away, you find out that you know from reading the back that there's a set of twins, if you will, that were born. I want to say, let me look back here. I think it says 10 years later. Okay, so it has to do with IVF and frozen embryos. This couple gets a baby through IVF, frozen embryos, they have a baby, but she gets sick and it's just probably not a good idea for her to have another baby. And so they give their frozen embryos up for adoption. It hangs out for a while, blah, blah, blah. Then there's another couple out there, a couple states away, I guess, I don't know. They adopt a frozen embryo because they can't have children of their own. Okay, so that's how these twins were born 10 years apart. All right, but I'm going to tell you one of the kids dies. It says so right in the very back, right? So this book is about this guy trying to find the other girl. I was crying literally through the whole book. So if you don't like crying, don't get this book. I mean, it is, I think on top of it, during my life right now, my grandfather is in his end stages and probably going to pass away soon. So I don't know if that had an effect on me. I don't know. Now, Karen made this into a movie. She hired up her own people. It was actually a really good movie. At first, when I was reading the back of it, because in the back of the book, she tells you about how she went through the steps of finding the actors and the people to play into the movie. I thought this is going to be a terrible movie, but I was able to find it. It is not free on any streaming service. I had to rent it from Amazon, so it's in my Amazon account. The movie was good, but this is what I'm going to tell you. This had a very Christian flair to it, talking about Jesus saving you, going through tough times, how you can turn to God, and all of that, whereas the movie was very I think they reference God a couple times, but that was very much not the point of the story, which is great. I love that. I'm just letting you know that if you do watch the movie rented off of Amazon, which I can put a link in the description, the movie is good. The actors, these are actually them. Cute as a button. I'm glad I looked at it because I sometimes have a hard time making up what the characters look like in my mind. And when I knew that this was made into a movie, I wanted to have what the movie people look like in my mind, so that when I read it, that's who they look like. So that when I watch the movie, I'm not like, that's not what they're supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? Super good. So if you want a really sweet, romantic, loving movie, go ahead. Someone Like You. It is on Amazon. But if you want to read this and then have a more Christian flair to it, like I said, when the movie was made, God is pretty much just mentioned a couple times in there in a fun, creative way, whereas this, it's more the backbone of the story. Both good options. Like I said, I read the book first, watched the movie, loved it. I will not watch or read the book again because it will make me cry my eyes out. But if you like crying during the books, this is the book for you. This one will do it. I will watch the movie again. Now, this is probably the best of the books that I've read, and I was a little stubborn. It is a book by Kristin, and people have been recommending books to me from her for quite a while. The Great Alone, whatever. I can't remember the name of the other one. And I am kind of one of those people, if everybody tells me how great it is, I'm like, not going to do it. Like I don't know what it is in me. I'm like, okay, everybody else loves it, great. I'll go find something like my crochet author. I love all her books, and you don't hear everybody running around talking about her. But somebody I work for gave me this book as a present. Kristin, The Nightingale. Oh my gosh, is this book so good. So you know how I was talking about how the other books in the beginning didn't have a lot of flavor, didn't have a lot of color? This is the kind of book that I was talking about. And maybe because I read this book second. First, I started reading Someone Like You, The Crier. Then I read this. So some of those others just seem so bland after that. This takes place in World War II. Again, it's about two sisters. The other one, but these ones are not twins, and IVF wasn't involved. And it talks about the two sisters, an older sister, and then she has a younger sister quite a few years younger than her, and how they negotiate the Nazis and the war crimes and living through World War II take place in France. Oh my gosh, so good. So big of a crier. I would say there's some really very sad scenes at the very end, but through most of the book, it is, doable. It wasn't like that other one that I was crying from like second chapter in. This one got more sad at the end because you know what? I mean, the Nazi stuff was terrible. Concentration camps, murder, the way all that stuff happened, it was terrible. And she doesn't hide a thing in there. This is not a true story, but it was based off of true stories. So she did a lot of reading, did a lot of research about different people in those days and who helped people escape. And so she based these two girls and their character off of things that she had read, okay? It's amazing. And good news, I had just seen in my Facebook newsfeed, because I still do a lot of Facebook, they're having the Fanning sisters. They are making this into a movie, and Dakota and Elle Fanning are going to be the two main characters. And they're both just cute as a button, aren't they? So that should be really, really good. I highly recommend this one. I now want to get her other book, The Great Alone, because that takes place in Alaska. And if you're one of my main subscribers, you know I love Alaska. I was born in Alaska. I had a trip up to Alaska. So that is what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. I know that some of you are like, Summer, where have you been? Where are your craft videos? I've been reading. And those are really the books. I have one more book that I'm reading right now. I'm probably going to finish it up today. I'll talk about it later. But that is 6 books that I have read. Those were all that I had set aside to read during the summer. I do have a little bit of craft here that I'll sneak in at the end. And if you made it to the end, good for you. Maddie and I do a little bit of watercoloring. Last summer, I made a big deal about trying to do a watercolor a day. Failed. I did not, although this was probably one of my better ones. I liked that one, kind of like a coffee cup. And then I bought some crayons and I tested them out. And then I made myself a cute coloring page. But I did do some watercolors yesterday with Maddie. This is supposed to be like a jar of lightning bugs or fireflies. I don't know what you guys call them. Then I did this one, like a little polar bear. This one is like a weird cat creature. It looks terrible. But this one I think was probably my best, this little blueberry one. So Maddie and I sat at the table yesterday and watercolored. So that is the closest thingy I have to crafting. Just Maddie is a way better watercolor painter than I am. But it's something fun that we do together. And you want to hear what happened to me, you guys? I brought my coffee. Now, those of you that do painting know exactly what I'm going to say. I accidentally picked up my paint water and drank it instead of coffee. I know. And I freaked out. I was like, ah! And my husband said, painters do it all the time. So I'm alive. It was just watercolor. Hopefully it's not toxic. I had bought this cheap set online at Amazon. I don't necessarily have a link to share with it. I looked, there's nowhere on here that says the ingredients or whether it's non-toxic. But, I mean, I'm like 20 hours out from doing that, and I'm still alive, and I feel healthy. But, yeah, I accidentally drank my paint water. Okay, you guys, these are what I'm going to sneeze. Okay, so this is what I've got for my next 2 videos. Remember, there's going to be a link in the description to all these books. Just random like. I'm not going to organize them anyway. If you can't find The Butler at Walmart for $5, don't buy it. Okay? Don't. Not worth anything more than $5. I'm sorry, Danielle. I'm sorry. My next couple of videos I have in mind, I wanted to show you all the diamond dots that I had done this summer. I think I'm going to retire myself for the summer. I just finished my last one last night. And then this is August 1st. So I have a couple, like I would say about a week, and then I'm going to head back into the classroom. On Monday, I'm going to go shopping with some teacher friends in the town about an hour away. They have a school, like education, the schoolhouse store. So we go there and buy a bunch of stuff. And then I have got to set up my classroom. So I'm going to do a video for you then of all the things that I've hoarded up and bought this summer for my classroom. I've also started, because I went in there the other day to kind of check it out, because what happened this summer is they replaced all the flooring, they replaced the doors. In the classroom, they replaced the flooring and in the hall. And so I kind of wanted to get a good idea of what my classroom looked like, and I knew I needed to put the furniture back in order. So I had to wipe everything down, sweep and mop the floor, and then get my classroom in a layout. And so what I'm going to be doing for you guys, because I'm sure all of you are just dying to know, is I will be making compilation videos of me setting up my classroom. So the first one is really, really short. I might tack on my next day to it, do 2 days, because it's just me showing you my room and then what it looked like when I walked in. Literally, I have boxes stacked up everywhere in there. It's got to be fine. I have to get my classroom fully set up prior to in-service, because once in-service starts, we don't have time. And then we have back to school day where that's kids bring all their stuff in. So I need to have my desk set up, my name tags out. I need to have everything labeled so the kids can go put their supplies where they need to put them. And so I got to get crack-a-lacking on that. Now, this is going to be my 7th year at 2nd grade at this school. So honestly, I have a lot to fall back on. I know what I need to get done. And I'm not as worried. It's not like I'm starting a brand new school with new curriculum. I've got all my lesson plans. We didn't change any curriculum this year, so it should be an easy start. But I thought I'd bring you guys along and let you see what it's looking like in there. Okay, you guys, that was my summer 2025 reading. I only read 6 books. I'm in my 7th. I wish it would have been more, but I've been having a great summer of crafting and relaxing. And I'm very blessed with very well-behaved teenagers that let me do whatever I want and don't get in my hair. All right, thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.